10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome, drag racing fan. Once again, competitionplus.com live with the Power Hour. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Let folks know we've got a U.S. Nationals preview tonight. Later on, we're going to have Brian Lohnes, Alan Reinhart, along with the boss man himself, Bobby Bennett, and then also get Rodger Brogdon on, talk to him, all looking ahead to the big go happening. Well, it starts really tomorrow, and it goes all the way to actual Labor Day on Monday. I'm coming to you live from a secret location somewhere in Indy, along with Bobby Bennett. Bobby, how's it going tonight?
Man, it's going great. We're on the eve of the greatest drag race in the world.
Man, and that is always a special time. I get to partake in 2 drag races this weekend. I'm going to partake in like the John Forrest Media Summit and then the Cruise Petragon Open House, where I'll do my show live from, and then get some sportsman racing in there. And then I'll go over to Mocan for Funny Car Chaos, and then I'm going to come back for Monday of the U.S. Nationals. So a lot going on for me this weekend.
Dude, you sound like one of those people participating in the PDA or PRA, like the article we wrote. You come qualify in Tulsa, then you go to Indy, then you come back to Tulsa, then you go to Indy.
Yes. That's about how it feels, but I'm looking forward to it. Drag racing all the way around. And Slammin' Sam, or how are you gearing up for the U.S. Nationals this weekend?
Actually, I'm gearing up to head back to Brainerd. There is a streetcar shootout type event that's going on. So unfortunately, I will not be going to Brainerd, but I will not be going to the Nationals, but I will be in Brainerd. So back to the zoo. Let's see if it's crazy as it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they just like keep 3 weeks of the zoo going from like no drag race in prep to the Nationals, and then like the hardcore ones just they got to fuel back up to get out of the zoo with the hangover they've had.
It's like the Civil War. They went on for like 20 years. Guys didn't know the war was over. Well, there might be guys at the zoo that don't even know that the race is over in Brainerd. Still partying.
The best part about that is there's a Facebook page that, it's obviously on Facebook, and just the amount of stuff that people are continuing to post, like people are getting home and unpacking their trailers and everything, and they're like, hey, I've lost this. Like, did anyone find one of these here? Because I can't find it anymore. So it's crazy to see like the amount of stuff that people take out there and leave. But yeah, no, I mean, I literally probably about 10 minutes ago got off the phone and they're like, hey, do you want to come down and shoot this and, do some content? And I was like, sure, why not? I mean, can't beat it. So 6 hours, here I come, or 5.5. It says it's 6.5 on GPS. On the way home, I may have made it in about 5. But who's watching the clock anyway?
Wonder how many come back with more stuff than they left with.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, who comes home with the dog?
Ew.
That's like,
okay.
Where'd this dog come from?
Okay, I'm glad you guys clarified that.
Yeah. Well, you never know what you might come home with. That is true. You never know.
Hey, I know one thing. There's over 57 people watching, and there's only one person that's like this so far. So before we continue to yak it up about drag racing and the big go and everything, this is what you need to go to the big go and do. First of all, you need to like this. You need to share. Get it out to the masses. Tell your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your dog, your turtle, the alligator that's in the swamp next to the swamp that's in your swamp, and the bluegill, and a catfish, and a red snapper if you got any of them, that the hottest show in drag racing is on right now. So get your cereal, your Monster Energy, your Bang Energy, whatever you're drinking, or whatever your drink of choice is tonight, because we know some of the guys coming on, they're probably going to have a drink. But tell them to like and share this so we can get this out to everybody. Everybody. All right?
Man,
So again, your uncle.
I feel like I just listened to Sam read a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, I can say it again. It's your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your mother, your friend of a friend, the turtle, the alligator, the bluegill, the catfish, the red snapper. I don't care. All of them. Everybody. Tell again, your uncle, your brother, your cousin. You guys got to remember that. For real. That's my saying. Your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your mother, your friend, your girlfriend's friend that you don't like, that's got the fake ponytail in the back. Tell her too.
Yeah.
Tell her to like.
Well, hey, speaking of like everybody, their auntie and so on, they're all at Indy. Like over 930 race cars are on the property, ready to duke it out in all the different types of classes that there are. And Bobby, let's start here. I want to ask you. You have a passion for some of these particular sportsman cars. They seem to harken back to your beloved modified Eliminator. So what is class racing within the NHRA? What is happening in class racing?
Well, basically you have all of these, what do you say? We got about 60 classes in each Eliminator or whatever. Well, back in the day, that was the way these guys qualified. They didn't qualify against the index. They raced one another, and the winners of class got to race in final eliminations. And this is a tradition that's carried on, and you'll see everything. You'll see one of my personal favorites is the Ace Stick Shootout, which was once the dinosaurs that roamed the earth battling it out. Your big block classic muscle cars. And these guys run heads up with no breakout to win class. And, I credit the NHRA for keeping that tradition alive and keeping it going here at Indy. And there's so many different combinations in stock and super stock. And we'll be covering those this weekend. We'll have Les Mayhew doing the cameras there, and we all know Les is great with that camera, and so we'll capture all the action of the V as in Victor stock automatic when we will have a taxi cab running against 4-cylinder Mustangs and a Pinto wagon and everything, so that's a little bit of what it's all about. And you really have to be an old school gearhead, but you don't have to be a gearhead to appreciate classic muscle cars running 1-1. And even 4-cylinder Pintos that can run the number.
Again, another reason why Indy is so great. It's not just waiting for racing on Thursday. No, there's tracks, there's cars hitting the track tomorrow. There's action tomorrow, all the way to actual Labor Day. And if you name it within NHRA drag racing, it's here. I think the only thing we might be missing is sleds.
Sleds, yes. That's true, but we make up for that with the Hemi cars.
After Brainerd, no sled.
I have to tell you guys, and I have to say, for 72 hours, we went through pure hell on the inside of Competition Plus. We were hit with a DDoS attack from foreign entities that actually flooded our servers with over 350,000 attacks in 72 hours, and it brought the site down, a time or two. And our IT guys just worked around the clock, I think averaging 2 hours of sleep a night to make sure that the website was up and running for this weekend in this weekend's coverage. You know what? It was tough. It was tough. And I have to tell you, when you've worked 23 years at your craft, pouring your heart and soul into it, and other people pouring their heart and soul into it, and you see it just not completely down by somebody who doesn't even care about drag racing. I mean, it's pretty tough to stomach.
Well, work through it. It's backed up. It's back up. We're right here with the show. We're streaming live. We're getting ready for NHRA US Nationals week. And Well, one of the stories that brought so much traffic to have the hey mom, how you doing? To have the eyeballs on competitionplus.com is, well, we have 24. I think now they're saying 24, was 25. Maybe someone pulled out. I don't know, but 24 top fuel cars that are going to attempt to make a 16-car field. And that's the first time since what, like 20?
Since, I believe 2013.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
And, well, the thing is that the story, you know, it was encompassing all of the classes, but the nitro classes. And look, everybody says, well, we were used to run 32 car fields and all this too. Yeah, we also used to get gasoline for 25 cents a gallon too, you know, or $1 a gallon. All right. So inflation didn't just affect the cost of gasoline. It increased the cost across the board of doing, you know, running a top fuel car, and throw the operating expenses from a top fuel car out the window. Okay. And I know that's a big thing to throw out the window, but have you checked the cost of hotels? Have you checked the cost of airlines? Have you checked the cost of rental cars? And just even feeding your guys, even a bologna sandwich costs more than it used to.
Well, that's why you got to use that great app called Turo. Instead of getting a rental car, you rent somebody's personal ride. It's way cheaper. Come on, Bobby.
With my budget, I'll get Uncle Buck's car.
No, honestly, it's way cheaper. Like over the last year, I've used Turo, and they're not sponsored. This isn't a sponsored drop, but seriously, it's people that, you know, have cars or whatever, and they rent their personal vehicle out. You know, it probably makes their monthly payment, but yeah, you can get a pretty nice car for, you know, under $100.
I saw the rental car prices from here, and I thought about getting a U-Haul truck and throwing everybody up in the back of the U-Haul truck, and we come to the track and open up the back door and look like a bunch of illegals running out of there.
That's the Comp Plus gang right there, folks. No. Well, you know, Bobby, I also think, and I have to agree, I heard this on Joe Costello's show this morning, and with Alan being on there earlier, I really think it is a apples to oranges comparison to go back to 1960-something, 1970-something, and speak of 32-car fields and compare it to having 25 now. I think 25 of a modern-day top field dragster honestly is a greater achievement than 32 of what was in 1960 or 1970.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. And you know, I would rather have smaller field of cars with quality cars than a huge field that it takes us until, you know, Jesus comes back to finish the session.
Right. And, you know, you speaking of quality cars, I look over this list and there are a number of quality cars. Who do you think is going to be the surprise qualifier?
I got it. I know it, and I was going to bring this up.
I'm probably going to say the same person.
Who?
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Will.
Rock, paper, shoot. Will Smith. Will is going. I'm letting you guys know right now. Mark my words. Hands down. I'm cracking a cold one. Monster. Here we go.
Crack it.
Right now.
Will Smith.
He's going to qualify.
I agree.
He will qualify.
I agree. He's going to have
there's something about it. He's going to qualify. You know who else is going to qualify and probably qualify? Surprise everybody. Crystal Baldwin. After what she did in Brainerd.
She's got a car. She's got a horse that can gallop.
Wait, don't just throw in Brainerd. Remember, she raced last week and collected data once again at Cordova. They're primed to do well at the U.S. Nationals.
If you let me talk, I was getting there. God, but she's going to qualify, and she's going to qualify good. You know who else is going to qualify? You're going to get some part-time teams, and I hate calling them part-time teams, but they are. Buddy Hall's going to qualify.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Crystal Baldwin qualify. That's going to scare the heck out of everybody. I thought Buddy is competing at Indy.
No. He's going to be in Indy, but he's not competing.
Well,
Yeah.
you can
Buddy's
qualify
going to
anyway.
qualify. Buddy's going to qualify, and he's going to
In the-
carry his car back to the pits.
Okay. Whoa, now we've gone to like surprising everybody to cool running. Like, come on. But okay, so that takes out my 3 then. So my 2 are gonna be Krista Baldwin and Will Smith are gonna qualify for that. They're gonna qualify, and everybody's gonna be like, uh-oh. And I'm gonna say this: both of them are gonna have a first round upset. You can shake your head if you want to. It's Indy. It's a big go. This is okay. I'm gonna say this, and everybody that's watching is gonna.
I'm not denying
both
one
of
of them won't. I'm not denying one of them won't, but you're winning the lottery twice in one day.
But here it is, Bobby. You remember the day that Baba Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs were in the Bourbon Bowl? That's exactly what it's Indy. You can't. What do they say? What do they say over and over in that movie? It's a championship. You can't hold anything back. Indy is a different case. There's something about the uniqueness of Indy. It's like going to it's the Disneyland of drag racing. If I can sum up Indy, and if I had to write an article, that would be the article. How do I describe Indy? It's the Disneyland of drag racing. It is. It's the pinnacle of them all. What is the one race that everybody looks forward to? Indy.
All we have to do is go back to 1996 to see that, when a relatively unknown racer named Tony Schumacher came out, qualified number 1, and went all the way to the final round before getting beat by Corey McLennan.
Right. And,
it's Indy, baby.
It's Indy, and Indy has so many of those examples. I know Darren Williams Jr. on American Hot Rod Entertainment, he makes light in a video of Pat Austin and his situation. Granted, he popped the supercharger, but he came back later and did win it and finally got it. And, what a great story it is. But Indy produces these Cinderella stories, it being the biggest race of the year. So,
well, I can tell you,
anything can happen.
Look at my shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Gary Bergen beats Don the Snake, Don the unbeatable Perdone.
All right, here's the question though. Mike, you've got a good question. Who doesn't qualify?
Ooh.
Yeah, now a lot of folks earlier today on certain shows were like, no, we can't say that. Don't want anybody saying anything. But look, there's a lot of quality cars. Certainly, there's a lot going home. And when we talk about who doesn't qualify, I think the emphasis there is really not on, for example, Alex June, but it's like, does a Doug Coletta not make the field? Does a Tony Schumacher not make the field? One of those type of names. So who do you think is a possible big name that doesn't make this field?
I can't even wrap my head around that one. I don't know.
Here, let me do this so I don't short myself. I'm gonna go through the list again. I'm going through the list again right now, and I'm you know what do I have to lose? That's what this show is all about, right? Telling exactly how we feel, looking at everything and saying, you know what, this is what it is. This maybe isn't what it is. Bite me later if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, not really, but this is just the way the cookie crumbles.
Out of the big names,
yeah,
I think if one does not qualify, it's going to be Sean Langdon not to qualify. That's a stretch, but that's going to be my guess.
Wow.
Okay.
I think all the regulars are going to make it in.
Ultimately, I do think so too. I think it's going to be a fight between Kyle Wurtzel, Lex June, Will Smith, Krista Baldwin, those names.
No, because those two are getting in. I posted this like earlier this week, and I can't even find it now. What is going on?
We got some saying Antron or Tony Schumacher. Randy says Leah. Mike. Oh, Austin Prock. There's an interesting one.
That's very interesting.
Ooh.
Okay.
Gary says
no, I'm not even going to bring that up. Yeah. If Austin Prock doesn't qualify, that is that's strong. I don't foresee that happening, but if that does, I think we may see a lot more changes than what we are even expecting. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the list. Speaking of Top Fuel, since we're talking about this, how about Tony getting that fine slapped on him?
That was, and I'm glad you brought that up, Sam. I'm glad you brought that up because this creates, we all know the rules are there for a reason and all that stuff. And I'm not advocating for anybody to look the other way when there's a rule thing, but not every time somebody has an infraction is it done. Sorry, I'm sending Brian Lohnes the link to the show. But anyway, these drivers and these teams are under pressure to get back up there to the starting line for television. And when you're rushed like that, stuff happens. And I understand that. And I'm not saying that that's a reason for a pass. But here's the deal. If I'm a Top Fuel racer or a funny car racer, and you're putting that pressure on me to get up there for TV time, and then going to turn around and find me $20,000 for something that was a mistake or we did what we had to do to get up there, you're going to have a single on TV. That's me.
Okay, I got it. Who is it going to be that doesn't qualify? It's either going to be Spencer or Alex Laughlin.
Wow.
So that's my pick. The reason why, I don't really have one for Spencer. I don't know, but Alex, and it's not anything personal, so no one like cut this and be like, oh my gosh, Alex. Alex is, I've talked with him, but I think Alex has a lot going on. He's working with his family business. He's doing that. He's been in his no prep car doing the Street Outlaws deal, and I just think that there's a lot going on. I mean, when we saw Alex when he was in Pro Stock and Pro Mod, when he was 100% dedicated to these cars, and we saw him at a very, very high level of competition. And like I said, you've got Krista, who is, she's itching, she's fighting, she's clawing with the cheetah print. That's why I'm using the claw there. And then with Will, I like his last name. I really do, for some odd reason. I really like his last name. But then again, I think he's hungry. He wants this. This is pretty much his fairy tale story come true, in a short period of time. So for him, I think, this may be that Cinderella story. Like I said, a first round win, that would be huge for him. So yeah, that's where I'm going. And like I said,
I think Will Smith is going to get out of his car and walk over to the other lane and slap whoever's in it and say, keep my car out of your mouth, and then go back and get his car.
Wow.
That would be good for TV. That would be really good for TV.
That would be.
Sammy, no, I'm not putting the monster down. This is my first one in this is my first monster since before Brainerd. I'm doing good.
Keep that dragster out of your mouth. But
Sammy, if you want to tell me that, we need to talk and get Fathead a part of the show. I'll make that deal. I'll put the monster down if you get a hold of me and you make Fathead. Because see, this guy over here has got some style and glasses. I have a face for radio, as you can see, since I shaved. So I need some glasses to make me look good. So talk about that. make a deal with you.
Hey, I tell you, any of these companies would be very wise to get on this show. Be very wise.
So
it's a great show.
We have talked up, yacked up Top Fuel here for most of the first part of this show, and a little bit of the class racing as well. What about the other classes? I mean, we've got everything there. What are some highlights, Bobby Bennett, that we can look forward to this weekend from Funny Car, Pro Stock, Pro Mod, Factory Stock, all the others?
Watch the Tasca train. It's coming through. It's coming through, boy, and it's hot. It's not going to be hot, steaming Topeka, seventh circle of hell hot, but it's going to be warm. It ain't going to be St. Louis in June hot, but it'll be hot. It'll be warm. And I just don't see anybody stopping Tasca I see Tasca keeping going. You know that, and he's got Mike Neff. Those guys got that car dialed in. I'm telling you, it's badassery at its finest right there.
And
so I have to ask you two this, because that's my pick for Funny Car. If he goes 3 in a row, what message does that send to Robert Height and Matt Hagan at this point? Like, if Tasca goes 3 in a row, what message does that send?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's easy. Have you lost to a Ford lately?
Hey, and I think what it says, Sam, is you better tighten things up. You better get ready, because we're going to go into a countdown situation that is going to be a carbon copy of what it was last year with just some different players. Because you can't count Caps out of the situation and the equation either. You've got Hagan, you've got Height, you've got Tasca showing up. Remember, last year at this race, who shocked everybody? Mr. Wilkerson. I think we're about to roll into another dogfight in the countdown of the championship in Funny Car.
I think Tasca has the handle on this, the hot weather tune-up too well. The warm weather tune-up, I think he's got it handled. I mean, he's like the guy at the milk jug toss or whatever at the fair that keeps winning the stuffed animals. He's going to keep doing it.
I will say, Tasca this time seems more confident than ever when he's had runs. He's had runs like this in the past, but there is a different confidence this time with this run. And if it happens, I won't be shocked.
Yeah. Tasca, he scored dates with the last 5 prom queens. So his performances, I mean, it's just wide open. I mean, and I know I'm sounding a little bit like Al Tucci there, but, homecoming queens or whatever. He scored the home dates with the homecoming queens for the last 5 days in a row. So he's a stud right now. And have you driven a Ford lately?
Right. Well, and speaking of another Ford, does Blake Alexander point his way in to the countdown? He has got to make 10th to get into the countdown. Jim Campbell doesn't. It looks like Chad Green is secure and safe. Can Blake Alexander get it done on Monday?
Yeah. They made some good runs in testing from what I understood from Brainerd. And I think that's a good car to get in there. Yes.
I'm just looking at the points battle right now, and
let's just go ahead and skip over Pro Stock, because we know Erica Enders is going to win it all.
Oh.
Okay,
I'm glad.
Dang.
I'm glad somebody else knew it.
I'm telling you, she's
But,
just
okay.
playing back. She didn't want to be stingy. She ain't a stingy young lady. I mean, she's been letting somebody else, win a few. But that girl, that's badassery at its finest. I don't even know if that's a word, but it sounds right.
This is my thing. Everybody gives the Elite Motorsports group and the, and that whole, I'm going to call it the fleet of elite. They give them so much crap, but look what they're continuing to do. They have off weeks, and guess what they're doing? They're out testing.
Yeah, they were
like
testing.
That's what it takes to be a champion. That's what it takes to have or shoot for 10 wins in the season. It takes moments like that to where you can just say, you know what, I'm going to go out and test. I want to be at my best. And I think we've said it over and over in the show. She said it over and over on the show. There was someone out there that, I think everyone in the media industry, everyone that follows NHRA, smack talk and drag race and everything, there was someone sitting in their mom's basement this offseason that lit a cannon underneath her, and she is determined to use that along with not winning the championship last year and everything else that's happened. Say, you know what? Here, you guys have put this in front of me and said I can't do it, so now's the time.
Yeah, and the pro stock field had to have been like we were on my softball team when we were in a 5 home run limit league, and then somebody hit that 6th home run in a game, which was an out, to which we proceeded to stand up and say, "Thank you, dummy." And so that's what all these racers stood up and said, "Thank you, dummy."
Okay.
I think another. Oh, go ahead.
What? No. You're.
So pro stock. Lee, do you agree? You haven't said much on pro stock.
I'm just ready to get Alan Reinhart on the show. He's in the green room waiting.
All right, this is a perfect time to bring him on because we need to roll into pro stock motorcycle. I want to know. We need to roll into pro stock motorcycle. Bring Alan on and let's get his thoughts on what bike or what bikes Matt Smith is going to be on.
Right. Well, folks, no matter what bike or fuel car or race car or regular car you need a pump, it's Weldon High Performance. Competition Plus Power Hour, brought to you by those fine folks. Well, Mr. Reinhardt, welcome to the show. You've been a busy man today, this morning with a press conference on Joe's show, Larry Dixon's shop, and now the Competition Plus Power Hour. Good to have you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I also ran by Richie Crampton's shop to say hi to him, and stopped in a couple other places since you get to Indy, you got to go around and shake everybody's hand, do everything. It has been a busy day, but I like busy better. I really suck at doing nothing. When I'm home and it's like, you know what, I got a day off. I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. At about 10 a.m., I go, "Oh, screw this! I'm going to the shop. I got to do something." So no, it was a good day, and I don't know if anybody saw my tweet, but I was kind of proud of the fact that I'm working on my multitasking. So today was laundry day because I was in Bowling Green last week, and I had to get all my stuff cleaned up for this weekend. Well, they have a washer and dryer at Tony Stewart's race shop because all the teams come back in and got to clean their shit up. So I'm sorry, can I say that? So while I was there at the press conference, I threw my stuff in the washer, and then everybody's having lunch. I went over and threw it in the dryer, and then once the press conference was over with, I folded everything up and headed out to my next stop on tour. It's the glamorous life on the road, right? Everybody thinks you get on a private jet, you get in a limo, no, you've got to figure out how to do all this stuff while you're doing all this stuff. And so that was today, but I'm looking forward to going racing.
Alan, I guess you're at 473.75 races with the Route 66 makeup, or I guess. But anyway, I just got to ask you, somebody who goes to so many races and there when the lights turn on and there when the lights turn out, what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Depends on what day. What day are you talking about?
Everyone. Let's just go down the list.
right now, tomorrow we're going in there. It's time trial and qualifying day for everybody from Super Street to Super Stock. Okay, that's going to be a day where everybody's just making practice runs. What I'm really looking forward to right now is Thursday, stock class eliminations. I'm a car guy. I still own the 67 Mustang that I bought when I was in high school. I didn't buy it new. I'm not that much of a dinosaur, but I'm really looking forward to that. Once we put that behind us, I'm really looking forward to Super Stock, class eliminations, the Hemi Challenge, the stuff that's going to happen on Friday. That's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to that. Friday night is going to be the first Nitro qualifying session, and everybody has already kind of convinced themselves that that's going to be the time to go for the pole. That's going to be time. And to tell you the truth, I legitimately don't care. I'm looking forward to Super Stock class eliminations. We had 116 stock eliminator cars in Bowling Green last weekend, and 115 of them were tuning up to come here. And yeah, I'm a car guy. I just love the cars. And then Saturday, let's figure out finally who wins the first Pet Boys call-out race that was supposed to be finished up back in March. On Sunday, let's do the funny car thing. And I'm telling you, if I'm Robert Height, who are you calling out? Hagen. Let's send that guy home like before lunch, as far as the shootout goes. And I hope the guys, will have some fun with it. And then I'm looking forward to Monday racing. I said today at the press conference, the first thing I said was, it's Indy again. I understand all the things that we had to go through. I understand that we've got to make adjustments. The last few years. I completely get it. But this year is Indy again. We have everything. We have Pro Mod. We have class eliminations. We have the factory stock showdown. We have Monday final eliminations. We have 5 qualifying. It's Indy again, and I cannot wait for Indy again.
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that we could put together a match race between your 67 Mustang and McNeil Freeman's Taxi in the V-Stock automatic.
I'll give him 5 seconds.
That is absolutely my favorite class eliminations. V as in Victor stock automatic.
You want to hear something crazy? There were 2 GTQ automatics in Superstock at Bowling Green. And I'm going, I'm sorry, what? GTQ automatic? But the stuff's a riot. And, I don't know how many people know, especially watching your show. Jason Lyon and I, we're really good friends. We harass each other until the end of time, but we're really good friends. His station wagon was one of the coolest cars in the history of the world. He found it in Arizona. I went and bought it for him and then delivered it and then da-da-da-da-da. So we mouthed off to each other for like 5 years about we're going to have a match race, we're going to have a match race, we're going to have a match race. Well, he's in North Carolina and I'm in Arizona. So I actually talked to Graham Light one time and I said, hey, hypothetically speaking, could we do this? I mean, like Friday morning, right? We're not doing it in the middle of something. But if Jason wants to drag his junk from there, and he said, yeah, we could make that happen. And then I took my car to the racetrack, and it was pretty fast. I sent Jason's wife a text message with a picture of the time slip, and I said, please be nice to your husband. He's about to get some really bad news today. And then I sent a copy of the time slip to him, and then he sold the wagon. So I never got to race. But no, I'm a car guy. I really enjoy. I love the nitro cars. I spent 5 years working in the pro stock world. I got immersed in that, and I have so much appreciation for the people that do that. But the real cars, the stuff that you can drive, the stuff, and I said it before. I mean no disrespect to anybody in pro stock. I love the class. Nobody sits in the grandstands, looks at Erica Enders and goes, I have a car just like that. But they damn sure sit in the grandstands and they look at Aaron Stanfield's factory stock showdown car and they say, I have a car just like that. Even though theirs might be a 6-cylinder or whatever, but they feel a connection to that class. That's real cars. And I think real cars is a big deal.
All right. We're going to attempt to bring Brian on.
Hey.
You there, Brian?
Oh, we're racing.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Wide.
What's happening?
There he is. All right.
I tell you what, man, Brian Lohnes single-handedly drove up our reach for our Facebook
Yes.
page.
Yes.
That dude
yes.
was savage.
Is there ROI in TV, Brian?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, man, listen, that guy picked the wrong day to F around and find out. So he found out, and that was fine. And if you didn't follow that discussion, that was really a discussion. It was like a nail having a discussion with a hammer that I had with a former so highly accomplished racer. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't. I mean, listen, the guy did own a top fuel dragster. The guy's lead photo is his car on fire, spewing oil and God only knows whatever else on the racetrack. He has never once ever done anything involving the media, involving television, involving a church production of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So then to step on the internet and then tell everybody that drag racing, specifically the NHRA, would be improved by canceling the television production and lowering the ticket prices was his thought process to grow the sport of drag racing. And when you are that dumb, there are times when I cannot help myself. When you don't just step on a landmine, you walk up to it, announce that you're going to jump on it, pull your shorts down, and then cannonball on top of it, I have to respond. And so that's what began that discussion the other night.
Man.
Let him drop the mic. I don't know how we can say anything that can top that.
Yeah.
How do you?
Grateful to not be on Facebook right now.
I don't know, man. It's just like every once in a while, I don't respond to a lot of that stuff. Obviously, there's way more of it that comes up on different formats and forums that I don't waste my time with. But every now and again, it's like, you know, I liked wrestling growing up. I liked Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he would walk to the ring carrying that 2x4. And every once in a while, I like to pretend I'm like the Buford Pusser of the internet, and I take my own 2x4 out and just level somebody with it, because it does feel pretty good. There is a human response there, but every once in a while, it is just so dumb that it bears responding to.
You know what Brian resembled? He resembled like football player of my era putting on the neck roll and the forearm guards and just running through the line of scrimmage. The neck roll. I can bring out my photos of myself with the neck roll. When you put the neck roll on, everything's out the window.
And like I said, it was just one of those things. And then it's like, and part of it, when somebody says something that dumb, part of the entertainment, at least for me, is to then get the person to really get into the logic chain of how they arrived at the stupidest thing you could possibly think of saying. So it's like, if you said it, there was a process. Like you had to do the equation all added up in your brain, and that's what came out of your mouth or your fingers. So let's work backwards like a physics professor and do an investigation. And what we found was it got worse by the second. As it turns out, like the part of the iceberg, the stupid iceberg, the part that we saw was only this high out of the water, and then it went this deep as we kept going. In fact, I mean, if I didn't stop to go to sleep, we'd probably still be probing the depths of the bottom of the moron ocean, but that's where we were.
Wow.
Come up with it.
I got nothing for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's this big race this weekend.
I heard that. Yes.
So that's a pro segue, Lee. That is professional work right there. I like the way you gently slid us in there. That's perfect. I like it.
Wow.
Man.
That might have been more entertaining than Scotty Cannon's Christmas fight where the party broke out.
No, like I'm super excited. This is, Alan, as I was trying to get myself connected here, Alan was talking about all the different elements of this weekend. And yeah, I mean, to me, and you guys have probably gone over this, but this feels like, the 2020 race was kind of a triumph because we had it and it was like against all the odds. And the 2021 race kind of got us back half a step towards normal. And to me, this feels like the way Indy should feel. That the field is just ginormous. It's going to end on Monday. You know you're going to be there early in the morning. You know you're going to be there late at night. You know you're going to see all kinds of crazy stories and stuff kind of suss itself out over the course of the event. So, and then, as you guys well know in the media side of things, like the amount of news that is set to just come out of this thing like cannon fire this week is going to be maybe the best part of the whole event.
Yeah, that's why you got to tune in to Competition Plus. Brian, please forgive me when I said please don't bring back any memories of 2020 in Indianapolis. That whole place was like Groundhog Day for a period of a month. It
was, but listen, what was the alternative? And I look at it that way. I think of, and that's going to be something, 15, 20 years from now. It's like you're going to look back, at least I think I will look back and with a level degree of pride that it's like we were able to do something during that time frame and get something going. And, Alan was basically the one-man band carrying all those events by himself in the announce booth. I'd be with him for about half a day, usually on Friday, and then he'd carry the whole rest of the race. Me and Tony be upstairs in the TV booth. But it was like, it was a bit of Groundhog Day, but at the same time, it was the necessary and, for a while, the only decent option we had, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we had to get back in business. And with, if your sponsor deal is $100 a race and we're running 24 race season, well, all of a sudden we're not. So every race we skip, you've got to give back the $100. You still have to pay insurance. You still have to pay for your mortgage on your shop. You still have to pay for your machines. You still have to pay your stuff. We had to get back in business, and Indianapolis would let us do that. Yep. And it was a huge financial hit for NHRA, not being able to sell all the tickets, but they had to keep everybody in business. And so everybody pitched in, and I really believe that was one of those things where it's like, look, guys, we have 10 people that used to do these jobs. We can only afford to bring 3 people in. Now, do you want to be one of the 3, or do you want to be one of the 7? And I looked at it and went, I want to be one of the 3. Let's get us back on the road. And then when we came back last year, it was still kind of a cut down. Now, for everybody that won last year, hey, God bless you. You are a U.S. national champion. I'm not taking anything away from you. But this feels like Indy again. And again, that's the first thing I said at the press conference today. This feels like Indy again. And the enthusiasm from everybody I've talked to is overwhelming because they want to make a statement here this weekend.
Hey, so, we're staying in the hotel that used to be the famous Adams Mark now. So they've rebuilt the thing, but you think back to the years of Indy and the Adams Mark, that place was just a legend in its own right.
I was in the Adams Mark the night that the power went out, and they would let you keep buying drinks at the bar as long as you would scribble your room number on the tab. That was the night that Princess Diana got killed. I could tell Indy stories for days. It's funny because I told somebody this today. I'm trying to figure out when I became the dinosaur. Because I remember when I was the punk. Okay? And looking back now, I'm like, somebody should have just broke my frickin' legs because I really was the punk. And now, I look around and I see all these punks. And I go, when did I become the dinosaur? Because I'm the dinosaur now.
I've been out here since I was 18.
Listen, there's a few things I'll disagree with Alan about this weekend, but that's not one of them. I totally agree with
Hey,
that
every part of it, or anything in particular that you want to like?
No, pretty much end to end. That was perfect. Yeah.
Well, the greatest thing for me this weekend is the new kid on the team gets to write the pork butt on a stick story. Darren Williams Jr. gets to write the pork butt on a stick story.
Listen, the best food item on the racetrack property still after all these years. And John Fink asked if I was wearing a Ham's beer hat, and in fact, I am wearing a Ham's beer hat. Ham's beer, I believe, is still able to be bought for like less than $10 a case. I think but it's made in the land of the clear blue water, so it's got to be good, right?
Wasn't Fern Moat sponsored by Hams?
Was he hams or he might have been? It might have been hams. It might have been hams. He might have had the hams bear in the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the classic line from "I'm going to hire Wino to decorate the house"? When the hams beer says it's closing time, you won't have far to crawl. All right, Lones. When the hams beer says it's closing time, you're there.
Perfect.
Oh man, what a show!
So Brian, look, got the big go coming upon us. TV. I don't get to catch many national broadcasts because of my own traveling, but when I have this year, I've been very impressed of how things on Fox have been stepped up. New camera angles, new shots, different segues, things of that nature. What can we see and expect from the big go on the TV side of things? Is it going to be bigger? Is it going to be better? You're going to try some new things?
Yeah. So we actually, and you will notice a difference in the production this weekend. We basically literally throw everything we have at it. So you're going to see all the reporters will be here. Bruno's going to be racing, but he'll be working. Manny Busick will be here. Jamie Howe will be here. Tony and I will be in the booth. And then on Sunday, for the second half of our broadcast, Tony Stewart is going to join Tony Pedregon and I in the booth for our network show. So our TV coverage of Indy is pretty insane. It starts on Saturday with a qualifying show that'll also include the semifinal and final rounds of the Top Fuel Pep Boys call-out. And then we'll go into multiple qualifying shows on Sunday. And then on Monday, our broadcast starts, and it's a live deal all day. We start at noontime on FS1, noon to 2. And then we switch over to the Fox network from 2 to 5 to bring you all the eliminations. And as is tradition, the plan, assuming nothing goes completely off the rails, is to also televise the Sportsman final rounds live, as we have done over the years on the broadcast network. So, and you will see more cameras. You will see the starting line camera angles. You will see the drone. You will see the Lucas Oil chopper. I mean, you're going to see every tool in the box gets pulled out for this one.
As well, it should be.
Yeah.
This is the race of all races. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of races, but Indy is, some of us don't just say this is the most prestigious race. We put our money and resources where our mouth is. I mean, we will have 11 reporters, photographers, and videographer to cover this race where we'll have 7 notebooks telling the inside stories of the whole deal. And I'm not trying to plug, but
it's great.
It's my show. So,
yep.
but the same thing, I would expect no less of Brian and the Fox team coming out here with that. Alan bringing all the action. And
thank you, Garcon.
And I got to tell you, and I will say this: if you saw the piece that we put up about why we put this kind of effort into it, and I will tell you that I was inspired by the National Dragster team of the '80s doing their daily dragster and doing all of that. I mean, they set the bar so high on that deal. So that's where we got inspired to do that.
Lones, where the hell are you?
That makes sense. Where am I? Holding this little piece of heaven right here.
I understand. Are you at Camp McKenna, or are you at someplace else?
I am at an undisclosed private location in the greater Lucas Oil Raceway Park area.
Okay.
He's at the
Well, if you guys really want to tune in for some live entertainment, Lones will be in a booth with me Friday night for qualifying on NHRA.TV because he doesn't have a TV show, and we've been given permission to start drinking at 2:00.
Oh snap! It'll be like a Dutch race.
If you're saying it here, I'll sign off on it. I didn't get that email, but all right, fine, whatever. Yeah, let's do it.
If the liquor's flowing in the announcing booth, it's like a duck race.
No, it's going to be it's really going to be something. I mean, the whole thing from end to end. I think when you look at tomorrow morning we start running the sports cars at 8:00, and it's like, to me this whole race is like this collection of really unique, cool moments. So at 7:59 a.m. tomorrow morning, there is one of the most unique moments of the whole race, which is the fact that every single person there still has a chance to win the race. By 8:30, somebody's car is going to have broken on the racetrack and their weekend will be done. And so when you think about it, like before you send that first pair down, every single person on the property thinks that they have an equal shot to win the race. And you got 937 cars, and only 19 people will leave as a winner. But at 7:59 a.m. tomorrow, there are 937 people with a race car on their property that think they could do it. I think that's pretty cool.
But is there a car on the property that will have a bigger nitrous explosion than what we saw in Brainerd?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. That was nuts. And you know, when you have a manifold explosion like that, especially when it gets the fuel going like it did, it's as bad as it gets. I've seen a lot of hood scoops go, and that one was about as close to a world record as I've ever seen. I mean, you look at those videos, and you can count almost a 3 count before it even falls back into the frame. It's insane. It's nuts.
Hey, that one that Tommy Gray blew up at Norwalk that time knocked the MTV guy off the moon.
Yeah,
you know, the astronaut up on an MTV deal, he knocked him slam off the moon.
Yeah, there's been some notables. Yeah.
I still think the worst one I ever saw was it Norwalk? I think it was Norwalk. When Karma Hopper has a buy run in the semis, blew the manifold off, and couldn't return for the final. And it's like, oh my God, like to not even be able to come up and stage for the final. And I really think from a, you know, God is punishing you for something in a previous life. I don't know what else that could be.
Yeah.
Watching the videos back, Alan, you know, and you describing how high that went, like I was standing in the staging lanes, but for you seeing that right there, what was that moment actually like for you watching that hood scoop pretty much fly over the top of the announcer's tower and then back down to earth?
To tell you the truth, for me, it was like a little bit of a flashback because I still own my high school car. I drove a 67 Mustang when I was in high school. I still own it. When I was 17 years old, I had nitrous on this thing. Now, at the time, nitrous was voodoo. It was, I mean, if you would pull into staging lanes and people would see a nitrous bottle, they would like run because they were afraid your car was going to explode and destroy the world. And I was on a budget. I was stupid. I was willing to adapt with however I could. So I've got 100.
Telling a story.
I've got 150 shot on a 289 with a 4-speed, and I'm going to the race. And I thought in my 18-year-old mind, okay, if I miss a shift and I'm on the nitrous, this is going to be bad. So I'm going to mount the button on the console. That way, I'll have to let go of the button to shift, and then I can hit the button again, and this is going to work out great. So I leave the starting line, first pass. It's a 4-speed car. I leave the starting line. I turn this thing loose. I mash the button. This thing blowing the tires off. And I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome. And then I thought, you probably ought to shift, you idiot. So I let go of the button. I grabbed second gear. I mashed the button, and nothing happened. And then, kawoom! And my carburetor went over into the dirt. So we pick up all the junk. We get back over. The butterflies are bent like a U. I mean, absolute junk. I took the whole thing apart. I smashed the butterflies back flat on the trailer. I got the car ready to idle at about 2,500 or something so I could drive it home. Because trailer? What's a trailer? I don't know anything about that. Well, the problem was, while I was making this gear shift, the coat hanger that I had for throttle linkage broke. Literally, coat hanger. And so, when you hit the nitrous with the butterflies closed, that's not going to end well. And every time I see one of those things go kaboom, I go back to that moment where I went, oh, crap. This is the only car I have. I have to drive it to work tomorrow. And I was afraid that I was going to be buying a bus pass. So every time that happens, I flash back to that moment. And it's like benefits of a misspent youth. You gain a lot of wisdom by being a moron, and then you hopefully don't do the same stupid thing again. I've done a lot of stupid things. I haven't done a lot of them twice. I'm kind of proud of that, actually.
Alan, I swear that I saw that same scenario in the Q2 session at Darlington in 1992, pro modified at the IHRA Internationals. Is that when it happened?
No, I wasn't a pro modified guy. I was a streetcar guy on Friday night at the old Tucson Dragway. But
somebody did a good impersonation of you that year.
Well, if they had a green '67 Mustang, then. But I mean, every time I see that, anything like that, especially on a sportsman racer, I don't care how big the guy's budget is. I legitimately think to myself, it's bad enough that you're going to go home a loser.
Yeah.
And you're going to go home with a broken race car. And that's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I just hate seeing it when it happens, because as a person who has competed on a really small budget way back in the day, if my car broke, I mean, literally, sometimes I had to ride the bus to go to work for 2 weeks until I could get my car fixed again so I could drive back to work. And even though I know most of these guys are not certainly, riding the bus to work, but that's the first thing to go through my mind is, it's bad enough that you lost. You're going home with a broken race car, and that just sucks.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
So, Alan, an Indy question for you concerning those that might very well be able to wrap up the regular season on a high note. What competitor of whatever pro category do you think ends on the highest note, leaving the regular season and going into the countdown?
Greg Anderson.
I think he's going to wait. I think Greg is going to wait. Not his choice, but I think he might wait.
I just think he has shown the last 2 or 3 races that his car is back and being competitive. He's as motivated as he's ever been. Indy has always been a comfortable, good place for him. And that's, I can't tell you anything more than, you asked me, what do you think? And I think Greg Anderson is due to, finally get the monkey off his back, whatever you want to call it. But I really think that, there was a time earlier in the season when he didn't have the car to do it. And he now does have the car to do it. And I really believe that that's, you asked, you wanted a knee-jerk reaction. That's my knee-jerk. I think Greg Anderson has a good weekend.
I think you talk about Greg's got a monkey on his back. I think he's got Clyde the orangutan from every which way but loose on his back.
Man, that's a reference the kids understand, Bobby. That's one the kids. That's one the young folks understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was so much better.
It's when I was watching Nosferatu the other night, yeah.
When you were watching what?
Gravy. Clyde the orangutan. Man.
Tell you what, every time we let Bobby on for a long time, I have to do more Googling after a show.
Yeah. Well, it's good because you'll be the first guy. You'll be the first guy in 3 weeks to spend on Google looking up Clyde the orangutan. That's how good a reference that was.
You might be the first guy since 98.
Don't be jelly. I know my stuff.
Okay.
Hey, so, you asked me the question. I'll ask you the question. Who do you think?
Oh, it's Erica. All day long.
No,
Erica's been on a high all year long.
Well,
I think Tasca gets his third in a row. I think Tasca does it.
He certainly could, but I don't think that would be a big surprise. If you're picking the guy who won the last 2 races to win the next race, it's like, whoa, you're out on a limb there. I think, I don't think that would be a shocking development if Bob Tasca won his 3rd in a row, just based on how he's run the last month and a half.
Top Fuel, I think, Tony Schumacher.
Man, is there some sort of an inert gas leaking into your hotel room, Bobby? I mean, is something going on over there? You may want to call the front desk and have them. I don't know if there's a meter they can put in there. Is radon still a thing? Are we still afraid of radon? I remember being a kid, everybody was really afraid of radon gas. I don't know if that's.
Don't be hating on the visionary.
I will tell you that, Tony Schumacher has always had.
Yeah.
Tony Schumacher has always had an Indy magic, and so I don't know that that's a crazy thing. I think one of the Coletta cars could bust through. Would I bet my house on it? No, but they've been trending in the right direction, as they say these days. Especially Sean's car. I wouldn't fall over from shock if one of the Coletta cars ends up in the winner's circle.
Yeah, Lee. Tell them about your dazzling prediction on the Sean Langdon one.
I said if there was a big name car to not qualify, stretching, I think it'd be Sean Langdon.
No, I mean, just based on the way he's been running.
Yes.
Based on the way he's been running the last 2 months, I don't think that. I don't think so. I have been wrong before. I mean, I said years ago, Brian will be good at this. I have been wrong before, but.
Fair enough.
What do you guys think about Krista Baldwin and Will Smith making the cut?
Listen, I think Krista's got a better shot than Will, and I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm just saying it because she's made a lot of laps in that car. They've been able to figure out how to make it a low 80s car. Ran pretty well at Cordova last weekend. She made career best runs, of course, when we were in Brainerd. Record bumps by the top fuels 377.1 was set at this race a few years ago. The idea that we're not going to lower that bump spot to me is insane. I mean, between the later sessions we have, we're going to have some cloud cover. I realize temperature is going to be mid to high 80s at points this weekend, but there's going to be ample opportunity. So I think, honestly, to make this field, you're looking at probably not a huge change, but maybe a 376 or a 375 bump. And listen, I admire Will Smith. I was actually at the airport today on the way out to Indianapolis, and I was sitting with Ricky Smith's daughter, Melissa. We ended up at the same American Airlines lounge for our layovers, and she was headed up to the Yellow Bullet Nationals, and we were talking about a bunch of stuff. And her relationship with Will Smith goes way back to when they were working together at Speed Tech as they were both really young. And even back then, he was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And this guy has done every single thing the right way. We've seen a million people come into this sport, and they show up as a big flash on the scene, and then they disappear just as quick as they can. And that is not Will Smith. He has gone systematically, step by step, to get in this car. It is a triumph for him to be at the U.S. Nationals this weekend. To me, it'll be a triumph if he makes some really nice, clean runs. If the thing goes 90s, great. They got really experienced people working on it. They got good parts. I don't know if it's a 370s car. I feel like Baldwin's car can get there, and it's going to require a lot of work and effort, but I think she's the better – out of the two of them, I think she's got the better chance, just being realistic about it.
Well, having been in Larry Dixon's shop today when they were putting the car together and going over the stuff and doing the thing, I think Will has got a very good shot at qualifying. I think that Larry certainly is a smart guy. He's been around a long time, and he also has a lot of friends. And while Krista has the Capco connection and the Bobby Lagana and the guys that are going to come over and help her, which is the reason that her car's been running as well as it has been. Larry also has a number of people that he can lean on, that he can reach out to, and I will be surprised if that car doesn't qualify. I really will.
I think that if Will Smith was driving the Delbert and Goober top fuel dragster, we wouldn't be having the conversation. But
the what?
Larry Dixon, I think that's the key right there. Not the Delbert and Goober dragster.
Yeah, I mean, but it's going to be fun to watch, and that's the beauty of it. The number of times, and I think Brian would say the same thing doing on the TV side, when you're up there in the announce booth, you go, okay, well, here's a guy trying to move up from 15th. He can't move down from 15th, but he's trying to move up from 15th. And it's almost like, yeah. But when we get into, hey, here's a guy that's 22nd. Do you want to get paid for being here or not? And you've got to come up and you've got to show me something. And I hope that when we get into the final qualifying session on Sunday afternoon, that we're in a position where conditions will allow. Because there's nothing in the world that's more fun than the guy who's 23rd going 15th.
Yeah.
And now the guy that's 16th is like, okay, now he's got two pairs to think about. Oh my God, if I'm going to get back into this thing. And then the thing plays out. And that's, I think, as an announcer we pray for things like that. So we have something to talk about, so we can tell the story, so we can go through. And I think as fans, also, you go, my guy's in. My guy's 14th. My guy's in. He's in it. Oh, shit, he's 15th. Oh, he's 16th. How many more cars are back there? How many? And that is just so much fun for us to tell the story and for the fans to watch the story play out.
All right, I got to jump off here, guys. So my phone's about to die. My AirPods already died. But you mentioned the fake Delbert and Goober top field dragster. But I will leave you with this trivia question, Bobby. Who is the guy that has a name very close to Goober that won the U.S. Nationals in a very famous dragster circa, let's call it 1965?
Well, gee, let me go into my memory banks when I was -2.
Well, shit, I was -15, so you're already ahead of
Yeah, but you have a research department.
Good. It rhymed with Goober.
It was very close to Goober.
Goober.
It was Goob Tuller driving the freight train, twin-engined, top-gas dragster.
Are you sure that wasn't Floyd Lippincott again?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Bob Raves drove the car after Goob Tuller, but Goob Tuller had his own success in a freight train. And now you know.
We might say first alternate in the top 10 drag racing nicknames, right?
Thanks for having me on. Sorry I got to jump off quick, but I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing covering the race. It's going to be awesome. And Alan, I will see you at the racetrack bright and early tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you guys.
See you, Brian. All right, with that happening and Brian leaving out, we need to bring in Rodger Brogdon. So, Alan, you're more welcome to stay and chat with him or head on out right after the break as well.
I don't even like Rodger.
Oh, well, folks, break, and then we're going to get Rodger on.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Rodger, man, look, thank you for being patient. Good to have you on the show. And, well, first, thank you for what you're doing in the sport of drag racing. You're pumping some money into it for those sportsman guys.
Yeah, I love the sportsman guys, most especially the competition eliminator guys. That's always been my favorite class.
Where the hell are you, in a dark closet?
Really? Oh, Alan, I'll give you one guess, Alan.
I don't have a slightest idea. I can't see anything.
I think he's in his car.
I'm in a parking lot of someplace Alan knows very well.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, we could probably let that go now. I do know where he is now. Now that he mentioned, I recognize the background. Now that he mentions it, dude, you crashed what it's got to be one of the top 5 coolest comp cars in the history of the world, and annoyed everybody in the world that loves cars.
Yeah, I know. That was a very unfortunate weekend. I really thought I was going to win the race. I was driving good. My car was really, really fast, and I just, had a bad break there. But it's already at Jerry's shop getting fixed. So, I told him don't get in no big hurry because I knew he's got a lot of work going on. So I just bought me another Jerry Haas Pro Stock car to put my combination in.
So I assume you're here this weekend, or you're planning to be here this weekend?
Alan, we have went through so much crap trying to get there this weekend, man. Honest to God, I've slept less than 12 hours in the last week. It just, every little thing just didn't work, and we just had to quit. Then it came a monsoon here, and I had a foot of water in my shop and everything else. So, somebody keeps telling us, skip this one. So we decided to stay home and not make it because it just sooner or later you got to say enough's enough.
Yeah, at some point, God's certainly trying to send you a message. So is it at least good for business if you get all that rain?
Alan, I'm doing so much work, it would boggle your mind right now without the rain. I'm very fortunate to be in this part of the country where the new construction is still booming, and rain actually costs me money right now because 95% of my work's new construction, but they're just backing up, and that just gives me more work to do in the future.
Well, Rodger, earlier this season we had you on, and there was an announcement. Rodger Brogdon is going to be back on the Pro Stock Tour full season, and now you're not. So what happened, man?
It's simple. I just, if we want to tell the truth, which is I always do, I wouldn't have $40,000 worth of weekend worth of fun. That's a true story. It cost me $40,000 a weekend to do that, and you can I'm sure y'all can all come up with a whole bunch of different things you'd rather do than pro stock race for $40,000 a weekend.
Like in the parking lot where you're sitting?
Yeah, between that and Vegas. At least I can take 40 or 50,000 to Vegas and win a $500,000. I did have a record though. I lost 900,000 in one night, so that went the wrong way. It's only money. As long as I keep roofing, 150 houses a week, I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, just keep think about it as making a deposit. You'll go back next time and make the withdrawal.
Well, I won about $1 million last year, and I lost about $1 million this year, and I've had a hell of a good time. I'll tell you that. And I wouldn't. Alan, you've been with me out a few times.
Yeah, a time or two. Yeah. Is the statute of limitations up on that yet, or should I still kind of keep down low?
No. We got to keep a lot of things safe forever.
Sam, I really feel like there's some digging we've got to do after this episode. Now. Like, where is Rodger Brogdon?
You can dig all you want, but some things will
He's in Houston.
Please send me your current location.
Yeah. Forget Carmen San Diego. Where is Rodger Brogdon?
Yeah, that's a new show. As soon as you find it. But if you know how to talk to the right people, it'd be easy to find me.
Yeah. No, Rodger's in a place. It's really like let's just set this record straight. It's kind of an inside joke if you're down in Texas. Where Rodger is right now is where we used to go for lunch probably 3 days a week when I worked for David Nichols.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's kind of an inside joke, but it's a restaurant, it's a bar, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's just an inside joke.
Gotcha. We understand those. Like Sam, he went too low in Indy around December last year. So we get those.
I wish I was there, guys. Honest to God, we did everything I could. Pete was at the shop. He works for McGahey, and I had my cousin over there and all kinds of guys, but just everything we tried to do just didn't work. And I mean, I've never went through this much. And I'm telling you, we've been working hard for 2 weeks. I bought that car a week after I crashed my wagon in Topeka, and we've been working on it ever since. It's just, after we crashed, the engine had to go back to McGahey's shop and everything else because it had, a lot of debris in it from the crash and the fire extinguishers. Else, and transmission got messed up, and I mean, oh my God, it tore the headers off the car. I mean, it was something, and I'm still having some serious back issues with that thing. But we didn't decide not to go honestly till 5 o'clock this afternoon when when the water's running through my shop and everything else. We said, well, enough's enough. We'll just take our time and be in St. Louis because we got the national meet. I mean, the divisionals got a double there, so we're shooting for that now. We're just sometime you got to just take a step back and regroup.
I couldn't have helped you with the comp car, but if you're putting together a pro stock car, I know a few things about those. You should have just called me. We'd have been done in 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm sure we would. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Next time I'll be sure you're the first one I call.
Hey, Rodger, with all this going on.
We do have a big deal going because, my company is putting up another extra $10,000 for the comp guys this weekend. Yeah. So that's a bonus. And if one of the guys win it that are currently in our Division 4 program we got going, well, I'm going to give them an extra $20,000. So like I said, I think we have 55 cars or something entered for comp there. That probably hadn't been done in a long, long time. So.
No, it's incredible. I mean, Brian said 937. I didn't know that was the exact number, but I know that 900 plus is where we've been for a while. And I'm looking for. We had 116 stockers at Bowling Green last week, and 115 of them were testing to come here. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wish I were there. I've never missed Indy. I love Indy, but oh my God, it's just I just couldn't make it, guys. We did everything we could, and I have wore my guys out. Like I said, I've slept 10 or 12 hours in the last 3 or 4 days, maybe. It gets to the point where you just walk around the shop in a daze. Hell, you can't remember what you were supposed to even be doing. I left the other night at almost 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got home, it was 7. Took a shower, went to bed. It was 7, and at 10:30, I was back at the shop getting after it again. And I'm too damn old for this. I'll be 62 years old this year. I said, man, I think I lost my mind. But we tried hard. But like I said, we'll be at St. Louis in a few weeks.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, yeah, because everybody knows my love for drag racing and the sportsman racers in general. And man, I'm feeling. I don't feel too good about not being able to make it. To be honest with you.
Rodger, I got to ask with what's going on.
Else, but just couldn't make it.
And with what's going on with all these part situations and shortage, did any of that affect you with the swap that you were trying to make and everything that was going on? Was that a cause of any of it, or was it just
not so much?
A lot of
honestly, it's I bought a car that had only honestly it was built in 2019 by Jerry Haas. But it was a pro stock car, but it wasn't built for a 500-inch engine. Okay, so the engine didn't fit. The transmission mounts didn't fit. The hood scoop didn't fit. So every time we got over one hurdle, there was another one and another one and another one. And it just, my guys tried hard. I mean, we worked our tails off. And it just couldn't get done. And then we had a 16-hour drive to try to make it and be there by tomorrow afternoon. And it's just, I just didn't want to put them through no more. They tried hard enough. And they were more disappointed, or as disappointed as I am. But, we made a hell of an effort. Of course, you never know because nobody was there. But even everybody at my office thinking, what in the heck are y'all trying to do? I said, we're trying to move a mountain with a pickaxe and a shovel. It just ain't happening. But, yeah. We all accepted the fact now, and we're taking care of our sorrows over at this place that Alan and I know of.
It's a lunch counter. That's all it is. It's a lunch counter.
Yeah, that's what the lunch counter at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, why is it open at yeah?
Well, because the swing shift guys have lunch a little later.
So at this lunch counter, I mean, Lee and I talk about it quite a bit.
Before the night's over, I'll feel a whole lot better.
So
I'm
Lee
sure
and I
you will.
talk about food. Lee and I talk about food and
food.
beverages.
The food is excellent. Yeah. But anyway, I wish everybody good luck in the competition luminary thing and all the sportsman guys. And but that's why I'm not pro stock racing no more, guys. I just wasn't having that much fun. And every one of us know when you're not having fun, it's time to do something different. I bought me a big house on the beach. I go down to the beach now every once in a while, probably, I don't know, 20 times a year. And I'm doing something different. It just wasn't worth it no more.
Understood.
And I'll give it to those people who do that week in and week out. It's a grind, guys. I'm telling you. If you haven't done it, and it's easier now with a shorter schedule, but it's just rough. And I'm telling you, if you ain't running good or something, it's twice as bad. And you got people like Greg out there who's, his goals are so high because he's such a great racer, and he's got such a great sponsor, and so much people expect so much out of him. The people like that, and Erica, and all the rest of the people out there that do that actually basically, almost for a living. A lot of them do. It's I'll give it to them because I can't do it. It's just too much of a grind for me. Now, if I was 35 or 40, maybe, but not 62 years old. That's damn sure not worth it to me. There's so many more things I want to do. But I love the sportsman racing, and I don't think the sportsman racers get enough credit because, they all work regular jobs. Some of them work 60, 70 hours a week to be able to do this. And they need a lot more credit for the effort they put in too, because we all know they don't make any money out of the deal. And They do it for the love of the sport, just like everybody does. So the sportsman racers are definitely in the back NHRA drag race.
And I imagine you feeling that and knowing that. That's why you've stepped up with your company and your programs. And I mean, you said 10,000, then 20,000. Someone in the division winning. Are you saying a potential of someone could win $30,000 this weekend?
No, somebody can win 20,000 because
20,000.
In NHRA's Division 4 is we're going to pay $100,000 to the winner, right. Competition eliminator winner. So if you're still in the running for that, because we have 8 races in the program, and you have to run at least 6 of them to qualify. And so if one of the people, and there's still a bunch of them that can win I think honest to goodness, we probably have 5 or 6 people that have an outside chance of winning 100,000. Now it's 2 people are really in the driver's seat, but there's a good chance. And I just figured, try to get a few more cars, but just pay a little money. It's people. $10,000 is a lot of money to some people. Okay. Yeah. And that little extra incentive, I really think has helped get a bunch more cars there. And I'm going to continue to do this, even if one day if I quit racing, which we'll all do eventually. But I really like the competition eliminator deal because it's so creative. And sportsman racers in general are it's just one big family, a bunch of good people out there. Now you got a few assholes out there. I ain't naming no names, but 95% of them are good people.
Rodger, send me the list of the sticks that are still alive, because I would be very curious about that, especially if one of them makes it to the semifinals or the finals. I'd really like to know that. So send me that list if you would. And
the winner's definitely going to get 10,000. If it's in our program, he can go get 20,000.
And I agree with what you're saying. I don't think it matters if you're racing competition eliminator or super stock or super gas in NHRA, or if you're a Saturday night dirt track racer at your local quarter-mile track someplace. I have always felt that if you go to the races and you don't break anything and you don't crash and you win the race, that day you should make a profit.
I agree.
Not that you're going to have it for the whole year, but when I look at some of the stuff in the structure, and it's like, okay, we're going to go to the race, we're going to spend X in diesel fuel, we're going to spend X in fuel, we're going to spend X in hotel, we're going to spend X in race fuel, we're going to spend X in tires, and if we win, we're going to win 65% of what we spent to be here. That there's an imbalance. If you go out there and you blow the rods out of the thing and you lose first round, okay, you had a bad week. If you go out there and you lose second round, okay, but if you go out there, don't have any issues and win the race, that week, that day, that you should show a profit. And that's, in my mind, that's always been kind of the determining factor. When I was racing, when I didn't have 50 cents,
yeah,
I knew if I went out to the races and I went, and I'm going to date myself here, but if I won $150.
Okay.
$150. But compared to what I spent, dude, call a stockbroker. I'm going to expand my portfolio. If I lost in the first round, then okay, I get it. I lost $60 or $75 that week. But if I won that day, my venture was profitable. And I think it's important to get back to, it used to be when a sportsman racer would win a race, he'd win $15,000 or $18,000.
I know.
And the world has changed, okay? All the contingencies, all the other stuff. And I don't know how to fix that, but I do think that that's something that needs to be looked at, needs to be addressed. How do we make this happen again? And I'm not saying I have the magic answer. I'm just saying that there's, we need to get some really smart people in a room and let's figure it out.
In 1987, I runnered up the Chief Auto Parts National. 87. What's that? 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
$12,000 in 1987. I had a little Trans Am GT car, and I got paid $300 to $500 for every dadgum sticker on there. It was worth it. But, like you said, things have changed, times have changed, but we got to get a bunch of smart people in a room to figure out something. Just like our Division 4 program we're going to pay $100,000 for the champion of our program. But the 10th place, I'm paying 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 spots get $10,000 a piece. So it's I guarantee we at least doubled. We have at least doubled our car count this year, maybe more. And next year we're going to try to get to the point. If I can get some more people on board, we're going to pay $150,000 to win, and $75,000 runner up, and $20,000 for 10th spot. But it takes participation, And I've had a lot of good feedback from this year. Bobby's done us well. If y'all ever noticed on his website, he's always got one of our sponsors up in the top left corner. He tracks how many people he sends to their website, and overall, it's been fantastic. Some of these guys are getting an extra 10, 15, or 20,000 hits a week. So, yeah, it's something we're building on, and we're tweaking on it. So hopefully it keeps going.
Well, Rodger, look, my last question for you, so you can get away and eat lunch, is that what is your top pick, or who is your top pick for Indy? Do you have one in the particular class that we're talking about that could take that 10 or even the 20,000 total?
Well, I think Chase Williams is probably our best shot at somebody winning the 20,000. That's qualified for our deal here in Division 4. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you look at that competition eliminator list, there's some heavy hitters in there. But if I had to pick one, I'd take Chase to win it.
All right. Well, Rodger, look, thank you for coming on the show tonight, including us in. And sorry, we're going to miss you from Indy. We'll have to catch you at the next national event that we can see you at. But thank you for your time. Anything else, man?
I want to thank y'all very much for having me on and let me talk a little bit about the sportsman racers. But other than that, I wish I was there. But, I finally got over the fact that I'm just not going to make it. And I got some different plans for this week. Me and Alan will talk about them later.
Yeah, well, tell the lady at the lunch counter that I said hi. It's been a while since I've been there, but I'm sure she'll remember me.
I'm sure she will.
See you, Rodger.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much.
All right. Well, Alan, look, we're going to let you go as well. I do have one last question for you.
Sure.
Because I can, remember watching ESPN and you're doing pit reporting duties and you're at top end. You've been doing this for a while. And I say that respectfully because I want to ask, how do you have longevity in this industry? And as many racetracks and days and nights you're on the road, how do you do it?
I honestly don't know. I mean, passion. I'm a car guy. It really, even to me, boggles the mind that the first time NHRA bought me a plane ticket was 31 years ago. And if you look back at the history of the sport, this is I'd have to look it up, but I think this is the 1018th or 1019th national event in the history of NHRA. I've been to over 700 of them. I mean,
right.
Now, you got to remember, in the early days, right, there's one a year, then there's two a year, then there's four a year. So if you're talking about in the 1960s, you go a decade and you only go to 45 races. And there have been a lot more, obviously, since then. But it's still, to me, I just can't imagine how this happened. I am the class clown who somebody handed a microphone to, who started making fun of his friends. The first time I ever announced was like a Friday night high school night at the old Tucson Dragway, when I was making fun of my friends while the guy that ran the track went to the bathroom and then never came back. So I spent the rest of the night standing up there making fun of my friends. That's how I started all this. But I've been out here. The only driver that was in the professional ranks that was active when I started, that's still active, is John Force. Everybody, I was here for Larry Dixon's whole career, Gary Selzy's entire career, Brandon Bernstein's entire career, and I legitimately don't know how. I don't know how this happened. I have a passion for the cars. I try to inform the fans. I have a mechanical background, and I think that's something that certainly helps me. But I don't know that it's necessary. The number of people that I've talked to that. No, well, you always explain what happened with things. Okay, but Bob Fry, who had the position before me, couldn't change a spark plug. Probably didn't know a dipstick from a float valve. But he did an exceptional job. It was just a different thing. And I'm very grateful. I'm very fortunate. I am the classic case of the person who found something that they love to do and figured out how to get paid for it. And I talk to kids across the country and the Youth and Education Services. I'm the host of the program when we do that stuff. And the one thing I tell the kids is, I don't care what your passion is. I don't care. I don't care if you like growing flowers or if you like tattoos or if you like rainbows. I don't care. Find something you love and figure out how to get paid for it. I love cars. I love drag racing. And they've been paying me to do this for a long time. And I'm very fortunate and I'm very grateful. And I hope I can continue doing this as long as I want to. You work through the ears and work through the stuff and work through, and every job has its days and everything. And for everybody that's ever said, "Oh man, you got the greatest life," you got really. I spent 271 nights in hotels last year. Do you have kids? Do you want to see your kids? Because if you do, then you don't want my job. When people call me and say, "Hey, we're going to the lake this weekend. It's going to be the biggest part of the year. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. You have to come." Yeah, no, I'm going to be in Topeka that week. And they say, "Oh, damn, that sucks. Can we borrow your boat?" No, but I think you cannot have it all. And you make sacrifices and you make your choices. I love going to the races. I don't have to do all the division races that I do. I don't have to do all the region races I do in order to, put food on my table. But I love going to the races. And if I have a weekend off and somebody says, "Hey, we're going to Chicago. We're trying to bring the place back to life. We're trying to, can you come?" Absolutely. I wouldn't. I love going to the races. There are a number of nights a year when I wake up and I don't want to get on another airplane. There are a few times, and I put something on my Twitter, a couple of weeks ago when I was like bouncing between this and that. I get up in the middle of the night, right? You get up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh man," and I turned over here and I kicked the chair. And you ever stub a toe on a chair at 2:00 in the morning? Because last night, the hotel room I was in, the bathroom was over there, didn't have a chair. Tonight, the hotel room I'm in, the bathroom is over there, and there's a freaking chair over there. And then you go, "Wow, really? And this is the life I lead?" But I love it. I absolutely love it. And I can't, at this point, I can't imagine doing anything else. I'm a tractor mechanic. That's how I made my living. I worked for a construction company. I was a fleet. I was a shop foreman, took care of our fleet, took care of all the equipment. I'm a tractor mechanic that has been going to the races for 31 years, and I absolutely love it. I was off Mother's Day, and I'm off next weekend till Pomona. So from May to November, I have one weekend off, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If I could find a race to go to next weekend, sign me up. I'm going. I just absolutely love the stuff. I love going to the races.
Alan, everyone has asked this question, and I think Gino sending you off in this and how to describe it would be the best way. We've heard Indy is known as the Super Bowl of drag racing. I refer to Indy being the Disneyland of drag racing. In your words, what makes Indy, and what would you describe it as compared to anything else?
Well, I'm not sure if this is going to answer your question, but Indy is the oldest, largest, most prestigious, We can talk about that until the end of time. But even now, at the end of the year, everybody asks two questions: who won the championship and who won Indy? And that's how big it is. You know, if you tell somebody, I won the championship, that's awesome. I won Pomona. I won Gainesville. I won Norwalk. Did you win Indy? Well, no, I didn't win Indy, but who won Indy? Because that's how big it is. Who won the championship? Who won Indy? And if you don't have Indy on your resume at the end of your career, I think you're missing something. You know, you can tell me forever that, oh, well, it doesn't matter. You know, I won a championship or I won a couple of championships. I can tell you this. Ed McCullough, who I know very well, never won a championship. Won Indy 5 times. Ask him, would you trade one Indy win to have a championship? No way. No chance. No how. Never. And times change, and yes, there's more races now, and yes, Indy's, there's a lot of people tell you Indy would have lost its luster because now there's such a much bigger pool of races. But the bottom line is, who won the championship? Who won Indy? That's all anybody cares about at the end of the year, and that's how big it is. Whether you're a stock eliminator guy or whether you're a top fuel guy, if you won Indy, you did something that not many people have ever done, and that's something they could just never take away from you.
Well, Alan, thank you for your time. We know you've got a full week ahead of you. We hope it's a fun one as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for the first burnout tomorrow night. Or tomorrow morning. I always jot down the name of the drivers that go first. I keep track throughout the course of the weekend. And at some point, if you're paying attention on Sunday when the top fuel final comes up, I will tell everybody the first car down the track was Joe Smith in a Q stock automatic, and 9,746 runs down the track later, here is your top fuel final. But I just absolutely love it. I love it, and I can't imagine not doing it. So thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank Bobby for the invitation, and let's do it again. Not every week, but let's do it again somewhere down the road. And I want to throw this out there too, because I always do it at the races. I want to do it here too. If there's somebody out there that's watching, you have a question, you have a comment, you want something, I am announcer@nhra.com. Shoot me an email, and I answer every email, even the ones that say you suck, you should retire, you should be thrown into a wood chipper. I answer every email. But announcer@nhra.com. If you got a question or comment, shoot it at me.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
See ya.
Where in the world is Rodger Brogdon?
If he's in Houston, I can probably find out. That's all. I mean, I have family. I have family there, so I mean, if Alan wants to write a comment or kind of say or somebody, I mean, I can probably find out. I can. I'm gonna ask where the best lunch spot in Houston.
Right, lunch spot.
Tomorrow.
There is a new drag racing mystery now, and it's
With
not
blue
what
light.
happened in Rodger's accident. It's red, blue, and then white. Notice that it went red, blue, and white.
Blue.
Yeah.
I can send a couple of text messages right now, and I mean, I have family down there,
Hey,
but
overall, is it not great though that Rodger is investing back in the sport? He's not even going to be at Indy, and he's throwing money back to sportsman racers, and he's a sportsman racer himself. It's so cool to hear someone that is successful, and Rodger's very successful with his roofing business, and he's giving back to sportsman racers. And look, they've seen car count go up. It's really a simple equation.
And we talked about it last week on the show before we brought Lyle Barnett on. Is it about the money or the prestige? I mean, that's something that you said almost 2 years ago now on the show.
That keeps carrying on, doesn't it?
But I mean, it's true. I mean, we've seen it, and just like Alan said, we need to get a room full of smart people around and figure out how to do it, with contingency funds and all of that. I mean, like he said, if you are winning on Sunday, you should be, you should come out ahead. And that's what it takes. I mean, that's what's going to keep the sport alive. And we've talked about it, and Lee, we can talk about it until we turn blue as a Ford Oval. But I mean, it that's what it comes down to is it costs to it costs to play. And this is one of those sports where I think it's fallen off of the wayside at a point, and I think now people are really starting to come back to it and say, you know what, there is a way to do it. And you have people like Rodger throwing money in. You have people like D-Wagon putting money in, and that's what it takes. I mean, day in and day out, these racers, and just like Rodger said, are working on their cars countlessly. I mean, from not just the teams working on it, the crew chiefs, the owners, the drivers. I mean, they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it, going from one place to another. Flying back and forth, like Alan just said, spending how many, days in hotels a year. It's taxing on the body, the mentals, and everything else. So, I mean, to give back and to have something at the end of the weekend to show, like, hey, yeah, here's my trophy, and I would like the Wally to sit right here. But to have something else that you can be proud of and say, I got a little bit back from what I've invested into my time and everything. So, that's what it takes. I think Mike Ashley has a great post here. I mean,
I agree, and it may be coming because the title sponsor for the Fall ZMAX race is a betting site. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see betting for that race, no, but somebody in the betting world sees some interest in NHRA drag racing. So it may be coming. It may very well be down the pipeline.
I mean, and Lee, I think we're on the right trajectory, right? We have a video game out, and I don't know if you guys got to talk about that right at the beginning. As I said, I have the game on order. I only check my mail once a week because we all know what's in the mail. Bunch of bills. No one's sending me a check. So I check my mail once a week. So it may be sitting in there right now, but I'll check that. But we're moving in the right way. We have this video game out.
So.
People are investing in the sport. And
look at the NHRA. This weekend, there are some YouTubers that have been invited to be at the U.S. Nationals. I think that's a move forward. I think the game is a move forward. I think I see them here recently. They've been adding more content to the YouTube channel for the NHRA. They are moving forward. Maybe not at the pace we all hope, but there is a march forward, and it's good for the sport, and it's good for the teams, and it's good for each and one, us as fans and us as in the media. I think at times we make the negatives to be too big than what they really truly are, because it's easier to talk about a train wreck than it is a train being on time.
And I mean, I think NHRA has been doing this for a while. I mean, we've seen it, since the Western Swing. And when you went to Denver, you had, I forget the young lady's name, who was there with the First Farm guys. And then you had, yes, they were there with Hagen and Dodge and Leah. But, I mean, that's what it takes. If we look at our resources, and we all know someone that knows someone that we can bring to a racetrack. We all know that, right? But if you can reach out to, a couple of people in that area, in Indy, I mean, it just depends on what resources you may have or who you can connect to get down there. And I think that's one thing that NHRA is starting to do is look at their resources and say, hey, where can we pull from this and where can we pull from that? To tell the story and to bring people in to drag racing so they can experience it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I'm looking, of my resources of later races that are coming up or things that may be coming up in the Texas area or anything like that from people that I may know, just to try and bring them into the sport, because that's what we need. The more exposure and the more eyeballs that we can get on our sport is the only way we can continue to grow it.
That's right, man. Well, look, we have a huge 68th U.S. Nationals ahead of us. And I also had ahead of me the Labor Day Classic there at Mocan Dragway for Funny Car Chaos. You have got some streetcar racing there at Brainerd coming up this weekend. There is drag racing all over. I'm so glad we're talking about such a diverse sport, and it's happening everywhere, and it's a healthy sport as well. Sam, anything else before we close out?
Man, the only thing I got to say is, like I said before, yes, it sucks not being able to go to the Big Go. I want to be there. My heart will be at the Big Go, but I'm gonna go back to the treaded waters that I say I'll go to once a year. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. There's gonna be a couple of videos that I haven't posted, but I'm going to press the publish button on them here this week. Of drivers, I have to do it, Lee. And any coverage that I've had coming up, stay tuned to that. Sneak peek of maybe staying tuned to the Antron Brown YouTube channel and to the TikTok of Mr. AB and AB Motorsports. So that's a hint there. I'm not going to say anything else about that. But yes, we'll go back to Brainerd here this weekend and take in some streetcar stuff. And who knows? There may be a secret that I'm not telling anyone about a blue Mustang that I know about. But yes, that's what's going on. And shout out to Ford. Good luck to everybody. Have fun. Be safe. Outlaw Performance ENT Slam Sam.
Well, folks, look, Kroger Sucks 45 mentions it. Yes, I'm going to be at the Cruise Petragon open house. I actually will.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to airing Between the Slicks live from the Cruise Petragon open house. We will just snag whoever's there. I mean, we're talking about Buddy Hole, Cruise Petragon, Camry Caruso, so many other motorsports stars, because there are going to be other representatives from the motorsports world, but then also there's going to be like UFC fighters there, and it's a car show and food trucks, and it's going to have a lot going on there, and you are going to be able to get in on that open house virtually via Between the Slicks Thursday night on the Monday Morning Racer platform at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm looking forward to that. And be sure to subscribe to flowracing.com. Catch the action for Funny Car Chaos at Mocan Dragway. Dude, it's 38 funny cars on the entry list at Mocan Dragway. That is going to be a spectacular race to see. Matter of fact, what I recommend, start out in Indy, then go to Mocan, and then come back to Indy, just like I'm doing, and get all the drag racing you can. Or go to Brainerd and experience the drag racing that you can, and go down to Indy if you can. Get it all in this weekend for sure. And hey, thanks to Sarah Slaughter, going to be doing the John Force Media Summit tomorrow morning as well. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, folks, you might want to tune into Monday Morning Racer tomorrow. She's like, yeah, just do what you want. I might go live, or, might do something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll be there in the morning as well. Indy and Mocan and drag racing, period. It's going to be good.
Well, yes, I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm excited for the Big Go. I'm excited to see what we're going to see. I mean, this is like everyone said, it's the big shebang. I mean, remember that day that Bobby Boucher came in at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl? I mean, honestly, if someone does not, this is what I need from the Competition Plus crew. Someone out there that's watching this needs to get 3 or 4 guys. I need the Mud Dogs helmet with the beer cans in there. Someone needs to record and send me that. And I want to see the Mud Dogs win the Bourbon Bowl. I mean, that's what Indy is. I mean, that's the most iconic, I don't want to say most iconic football movie, but one of those moments where you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, remember the Titans is up there, but yeah.
Right.
But, man, it's the Big Go. It's the big one of them all, Lee. I'm excited for you doing your whole travel, the Monday Morning Racer tour. What is the name of your actual tour this year?
I needed to come up with a name. Warren Evans of Drag Racer TV. He streams for Funny Car Chaos, works for NHRA. He's actually going to be announcing some here at the U.S. Nationals, the Sportsman ranks. He's like, you need to call it Tales from the Soul, because I drive a Kia Soul. And I thought that was pretty good. But I don't know. But yes, it's the Monday Morning Racer Grand 2022 tour, and it keeps adding. Like Alan mentioned, he's been in a motel room like 200 nights. I think I'm knocking on 150 something nights, not to mention the nights I slept in my car like last night.
Yeah, I can remember one night that you slept in your car, but we won't talk about that. This has been another episode of the Power Hour, Competition Plus. Bobby Bennett, Alan Reinhart, Brian Lohnes, the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Trav himself, and I'm forgetting someone. No, I'm not. Rodger, Brogdon. On tonight. What a show, man.
Good show.
Lee?
Yes.
The big go. Indy. If you are there, if you can make it, do what you got to do to get there. Man, I mean, we are at the point, Lee. Now, it is time. Get to Indy, be there, or be what, Lee?
Square.
Well, y'all, I'm Slammin' Sam. That guy is the
Monday Morning Racer.
And guess what, y'all? We've kept the pedal to the metal, and we are out.
Where in the world is Rodger Brogdon?
Classic car owners, make your headlights over twice as bright with Holley Retro Bright LED headlights. A plug-in replacement for those dim halogen seal beams, Retro Bright maintains that classic look and lasts 6 times longer. Stay safe and click the link below to learn more.